This isn't just about dating apps or bad luck. There are real cultural and psychological shifts happening, and we need to talk about them. Hello and welcome. I'm Florent, founder of Edwige International, a high-end matchmaker and coaching service for men and women who are genuinely looking to build a meaningful relationship. Today, I want to talk about something I hear every week from clients, friends, people I coach. Why are so many people still single in 2025? We are surrounded by successful, attractive, emotionally intelligent people, and yet many of them feel stuck, frustrated, or completely burnt out by the dating process. Now, let me be very clear before we go any further. This video is simply informative, it reflects my own experience, and I do not claim to have all the answers. There are many exceptions, and of course, not every single person fits into the picture I'm about to paint. What I'm sharing here comes from my personal and professional experience, hundreds of conversations, thousands of stories across different cultures, different continents, different countries. I may be wrong about some things, and that's okay, but I'm speaking from the patterns I see over and over again. So whether you're feeling lost, disappointed, curious, or simply trying to make sense of the modern dating scene, this video is for you. We are going to look at emotional, cultural, and psychological factors behind this wave of modern singleness. Not to judge, not to complain, but to understand and maybe even grow from it. Reason number one. Dating apps. Dating apps change the game. Not always for the better. Okay, let's start with the positive. Dating apps have helped millions of people to meet. Some of those meetings turn into real relationships, even marriages. So I am not here to demonize the technology. But what I want to talk about is how dating apps have quietly and deeply changed the way we think about people, about attraction, about commitment, often in ways we are not even aware of. Here is the first shift. Choice overloads. Apps give you hundreds of options. Swipe left, swipe right. 1 minute you're talking to someone, the next you are distracted by a new match. It turned dating into a kind of fast food mentality, always hunting for the next better option. Here is the first shift. Choice overload. Apps give you hundreds of options. Swipe left, swipe right. 1 minute you're talking to someone, the next you are distracted by a new match. It's turned dating into a kind of fast food mentality, always hunting for the better option, instead of investing in the person right in front of you. And when we are exposed to that much choice, we start comparing people like products. Oh, she's pretty, but her job isn't impressive. He's successful, but I didn't quite like his shirt in that one photo. We become pickier, not because we are being thoughtful, but because we believe we can afford to be picky in a virtual sense. But real life doesn't work like that. No one is perfect. And the people who are worth it usually take time to reveal themselves. Another major issue, it's easy to treat people like they are disposable. When it only takes 1 second to unmatch someone, you stop seeing them as real. Ghosting people becomes normal. Being vague and consistent, normal. That kind of behavior destroys trust, and when people feel disrespected again and again, they shut down emotionally. They stop trying. They become defensive. And then there is the impact on self-worth. You could be an amazing person, intelligent, loyal, attractive, and still not get matches. Why? Because maybe your photos aren't professional. Maybe you didn't write a catchy bio. Or maybe you're simply competing with someone who spent hours curating their profile to look perfect. Dating apps make people feel they are constantly being judged and often rejected or ignored before they even say the word. Lastly, for many people, it becomes a game. You swipe when you're bored. You swipe when you're bored. You match just for the dopamine hit. You flirt for attention, not with intention. That's not dating. That's gambling with emotions. So yes, dating apps change the game. Now for many, they've created an illusion of abundance, while at the same time, making it harder to build real connection. We are more connected than ever nowadays, and yet more emotionally detached. Now again, there are exceptions. Some people use dating apps with good intention, and they have decent success. But for most, the experience is draining, and it creates this feeling dating is not for me. So if you are feeling like it's a waste of time, maybe the problem isn't just you. Maybe the tools you've been using weren't designed for the kind of relationship you truly want. Now let's keep going. Reason number 2, the fear of intimacy, the fear of vulnerability. This might not be something people admit out loud, but it's everywhere. It's one of the most common reasons I see people stay single, even when they say they want love. Because here is the truth. To be in a relationship, you have to let someone see you. Not just the version you post online, not just the achievement or the attractive parts, but the real you. With your insecurities, your defects, your scars, your fears, your habits. And that's, for some people, terrifying. We live in a world where strength is often confused with invulnerability. You're told to have standards, to know your worth, to walk away if someone doesn't meet your expectation. And sure, that's sometimes good advice in some cases, but at the same time, it becomes a defense mechanism. It's easy to demand perfection when you're too scared to open up and be seen yourself. Here is what I see a lot, especially in my coaching work. People say they want love, but they keep choosing emotionally unavailable partners. Why? Because it feels safer, maybe. If the other person is distant or unavailable, you never have to go all in either. Or they enter relationships, but they hold back. They don't express their needs. They don't show real emotions. They avoid conflict at all costs. Why? Because vulnerability can be associated with pain, rejection, past wounds that were never healed. And let's not forget, a lot of people carry emotional baggage they've never fully unpacked. Bad breakup, betrayals, childhood patterns, family trauma. All of that shapes the way we show up in a relationship. If you've never been taught how to communicate your feelings, how to handle discomfort in a healthy way, how to be seen and not judged, it makes sense that intimacy feels threatening. It isn't about blaming people, it's about understanding the emotional maturity isn't automatic. It takes work, it takes practice, it takes unlearning certain patterns and being willing to sit with discomfort instead of avoiding it by running to the next distraction. And in 2025, in a world full of distraction, it's easier than ever to avoid the inner work, to avoid the mirror. It's easy to say, there is no one good out there, when deep down we might still be scared of letting someone get too close and someone see you for the person you are. Now again, this isn't everyone, but if you ever found yourself pulling away when things got real, or choosing emotionally safe but ultimately empty connection, it might not be because you are not ready for love. It might be because part of you is still afraid of being seen and maybe not being enough. But here is the beautiful part. Vulnerability, while scary, is also the gateway to real life. No mask, no pretending, just two people being real and choosing each other anyway. And that kind of connection, it's worth all the discomfort in the world. Reason number 3, unrealistic standards and fantasy thinking. Now let's talk about something I see all the time, in both men and women. And no, I'm not talking about having healthy preferences or values. I'm talking about chasing a perfect partner who doesn't exist, or holding out for a fantasy relationship that's more Hollywood than human. Now let me explain. In the age of endless scrolling, dating apps, filters, curated life on social media, it's very easy to believe that somewhere out there is a person who's flawless, who will check every box, who will never trigger you, never challenge you, always meet your needs without you having to communicate them. That's just not real life. Of course, you should have standards, especially for how you're treated. But what I often see is people rejecting genuinely good matches because of small, superficial things. It's not tall enough. She's great, but I didn't feel butterflies in the first 5 minutes. His job isn't impressive enough. She doesn't speak 3 languages and don't really work out 5 times a week. And underneath all this, there is often fear. Because if you're always chasing someone better, you never have to actually choose. You never have to risk being disappointed or hurt or wrong. The fantasy stays perfect because it never tested by the real life. This also shows up as idealizing love itself, thinking that a relationship should always feel good, always. That your partner should always understand you. That it should be effortless with the right person. If it's the right person, it should be effortless. But love isn't a Disney movie. It's two imperfect people showing up every day, choosing to grow together. It takes emotional maturity, patience, humility, and sometimes putting your ego aside. Now again, this doesn't mean settling for someone who doesn't treat you well or align with your value, but it does mean being willing to look at your own expectation with honesty. Now you could ask yourself, are your standards rooted in reality or fantasy? Are you open to discovering someone's depth over time, or are you stuck chasing instant chemistry only? Are you choosing with your heart or filtering people out based on what Instagram says is ideal? Because in the end, love isn't found in perfection. It's found in compatibility, shared values, effort, trust, and emotional safety. Now, this may sound simple, but in today's world, it's become rare. Not because it's impossible, but because too many people are chasing an illusion instead of building something real. In my view. Reason number 4, hyper-independence and the rise of me-first culture. Today, we live in what I would call the me-first era, a time where hyper-individualism is not only encouraged, but it's celebrated. Now, don't get me wrong, individuality is important. You should have your own identity, your passions, your dreams, but somewhere along the way, the pendulum swung too far. We've gone from wanting healthy self-love to treating relationships like side quests. Something will maybe fit into our life, as long as it doesn't ask too much of us. We hear phrases like, I'm focusing on me right now. Relationships are a distraction. I have no time for it. I'll commit once I figure out everything on my own. Only then. And behind that, what I often see is this belief. I should never have to compromise. I should never have to adjust for anyone. I'm exaggerating a little bit, but you get the idea, right? But here is the truth. Real relationships require sacrifice, not self-abandonment, not codependence, but the willingness to bend, to grow, to sometimes put someone else first. Sometimes. Not every time, not always, obviously, but enough to build something mutual, something real. Hyper-individualism has made people allergic to interdependence. And so we end up with a generation of people who are great at self-care, but not at partnership. We built our life so tightly, packed schedules, solo goals, routine, that there is no real room left for someone else to truly enter. And even when we want love, we expect to just fit into our already perfectly curated life. But intimacy, relationships, doesn't work that way. It demands time, presence, discomfort, adaptation. And yet, we keep hearing this message. Don't settle, put yourself first. If they don't check every box, walk away. Don't adjust. This creates a culture when people ghost the moment something feels hard, or avoid dating altogether unless the circumstances are perfect. So many people today aren't unlucky in love, they've just been conditioned to avoid effort and humility that real love requires. Because while independence is beautiful, love is built on interdependence. And that's something many people have never truly learned to value. There is no healthy relationship without interdependence. Interdependence is one of the foundations of real love. Reason number 5. No one teaches you how to date. Now let's take a moment and be honest. Most people were never taught how to date. We go through years of school, learning algebra, science, chemistry, literature, but no one teaches us the basics of emotional intelligence, how to choose a partner, how to express love in a healthy way, or how to handle conflicts in a relationship. Dating is a life skill, just like managing money or eating well, but we are somehow expected to just figure it out as we go. Dating is a life skill, just like managing money or eating well, but we are somehow expected to just figure it out as we go. And many of us do, by copying what we see in movies, scrolling through social media, or following advice from friends who are just as lost. We end up confusing lust with love, chemistry with compatibility, silence with strength, detachment with self-respect. That's what we do. That's what we do. And here is something that's often forgotten. Parents should, in my view, parents should play a role in teaching their kids how to choose a partner. Not by essentially arranging marriages or forcing ideas, but by being role models, having a real conversation, showing what respect and commitment look like, and helping their kids to understand what matters in a long-term partner. Character, values, emotional safety. Those things, most parents never talk about this, or they don't know how. They avoid it altogether, thinking the kid will simply figure it out. Well, here we are, in a generation full of people figuring it out, badly, poorly. So people nowadays, they will invest in personal trainers, business mentors, language tutors. But when it comes to love, the area that affects our happiness most, many still believe it would come naturally. And when it doesn't, they blame themselves, or blame the opposite sex, or simply give up. In any fast-moving global city, like London, New York, Dubai, the dating landscape can feel even more confusing. Different cultures, high expectation, and zero clear guidance. That's why coaching matters. Not because you're broken, but because it's normal to need guidance in an area no one taught you. If you feel stuck, maybe it's not just you. Maybe no one ever gave you the tools. Reason number 6, the wrong people around you. One of the biggest and often overlooked reasons people stay single is simply the company they keep. Who you surround yourself with, the place you go, and the social circle you're part of all have a huge impact on the kind of people you meet. And more importantly, the quality of potential partners you are exposed to. If your environment doesn't support your relationship goals, it becomes almost impossible to find the right match. Now think about it this way. If your friends or acquaintances prioritize casual fun, partying, or short-term flings, then chances are the people they introduce you to or the places you go together will reflect that mindset. It's tough to meet someone serious about commitment when your social scene is mostly about instant gratification or impressing others. On the other hand, if you're in circles where meaningful conversation, shared values, and genuine connection matters, you naturally attract people who want the same thing. Now let me give you a concrete example from my experience in Dubai or in other cities. Many women go there to the fanciest clubs, luxury hotel, and the most glamorous restaurants, hoping to meet a serious committed man. But there is a catch. Many of the men who are genuinely ready for commitment don't usually frequent those places. Instead, they often socialize in more low-key environments or professional settings. Meanwhile, the venues filled with glamour and parties tend to attract people still caught in the party scene. Folks who are more interested in short-term fun, impressing others, or casual dating. So if you are constantly meeting the wrong crowd in the wrong places, it is no surprise that long-term relationships are hard to come by. This should be a wake-up call. If you feel stuck in your dating life, take a hard look at your social environment. Ask yourself, are you spending time where your ideal partner might be? Do your current friends support your relationship goals or hold you back? Changing your dating outcomes often start with changing the people and places you surround yourself with. Sometimes it's even better to be alone. So what can you do? Well, you can start exploring your hobbies or maybe activities where like-minded, serious people gather. Things like professional networking events, cultural groups, volunteer organization, wellness communities. Many things to do. The places, events you are going to attend don't have to be luxurious. and fancy, but rather simple or at least a good balance. You don't have to ditch your old friends, but expanding your circles and trying new environments can open doors. Sometimes it's about being intentional and stepping outside your comfort zone to meet people who share your values. Remember, you have the power to create the social environment that supports the relationship that you want. It's never too late to shift your circle, and that shift can make all the difference in your dating life. Reason number 7, past trauma or burnout. Another important reason many people remain single is because of past emotional trauma or simply feeling burnout from previous relationships. Whether it's a heartbreak, betrayal, or difficult family experiences, these emotional wounds can leave lasting scars that make opening up to someone new feel scary or impossible. When someone's been hurt before, they often develop protective walls around their hurt. It's a natural defense mechanism. To avoid getting hurt again, they might avoid intimacy or keep people at arm's length. This can lead to a pattern where they sabotage potential relationships or struggle to trust even when the connection is healthy and genuine. On the other hand, burnout from dating too long or facing repeated disappointment can cause people to feel exhausted and give up on trying altogether. Healing from past trauma isn't easy, and it doesn't happen overnight, but it is a crucial step if you want to create a healthy, lasting relationship. This might mean seeking professional support, like therapy or coaching, taking time to self-reflection, and learning to rebuild trust in yourself and others. Without addressing these wounds, it's very challenging to move forward authentically. So if you recognize this in yourself, know you're not alone, and that it's okay to take your time. The good news is that healings open the door to deeper connection, more emotional freedom, and ultimately, the kind of love you truly deserve. What can you do differently in 2025? So after all we've discussed about why so many people are single in 2025, let's shift gears and focus on what you can do differently to change your dating experience this year. Because the good news is, being single doesn't have to be your forever story. First, get clear on what you truly want in a partner and a relationship, and also please be well aware of what you could bring to your potentially perfect man or woman. This means going beyond surface level desire and reflecting on what value, lifestyle, emotional needs matter most to you. Intentionality creates focus. It guides your action, helps you avoid wasting time on mismatches and distraction. Ladies, that being said, it's important to stay balanced and avoid stepping into the princess seat right from the first interaction. The kind of man who is genuinely looking for a serious long-term relationship will also have his own expectation and is absolutely right to have them. Most quality men are not interested in impressing someone who approach online dating with entitlement or expect to be chased without showing mutual interest. They are looking for a partnership. I'll be releasing a video soon about what men truly want in a partner, not based on trends or social media, but from real conversation and experience. Next, focus on real self-awareness. And not just consuming content. These days, it's easy to drown in podcasts, YouTube videos, and endless advice from dating experts. While some of it can be helpful, many people end up confusing information with transformation. They start diagnosing others or themselves like amateur psychologists and end up believing no one is ever good enough. That mindset can be toxic and isolating. Instead of collecting more opinion, take meaningful steps. Get proper coaching or therapy if needed. Reflect on your own past mistakes with honesty and take responsibility for your own pattern. Real growth isn't about knowing the right buzzwords. It's about applying insights, doing the uncomfortable work, and staying grounded. The more emotionally mature and self-aware you are, the more naturally you attract someone who's truly aligned with you. Also, remember to build a life that fulfills you outside of dating. When you're content on your own, you radiate peace and confidence. And that's what draws people in. Okay, so what can you do? Start by getting clear, not on your wish list, but on your values, your wants, your patterns. What do you keep repeating? Where do you self-sabotage? What kind of energy are you putting out there? Then take dating seriously, not desperately, but intentionally. Put yourself in new environments. Be open, being coached. Invest in your emotional intelligence. Invest in your communication skills. Don't limit yourself to the same old social scene or dating apps that haven't worked for you so far. Try new activities, join communities that align with your values, and be open to meeting people outside your usual circle. Sometimes the right person isn't where everyone expects to find them. And if you can afford it, hire a matchmaker with a good reputation. It's not just about the introduction, but a good matchmaker helps you refine your mindset, avoid blind spots, and meet people who are actually aligned with your relationship goals. Think of it as investing in your future, not a shortcut. This also ties back to surrounding yourself with positive mind, positive influences, people who support your vision for love, not those who constantly tell you that all men are trash or modern women don't want anything serious. That energy won't help you. Stop outsourcing your standard to social media or friends' opinion. Trust your own experience, be discerning, and stay humble. And most importantly, be kind to yourself, to others, to the process. Dating is not a transaction. It's not a game. It's a deeply human, complex journey. And if you approach it with the right mindset, it can deeply be rewarding. Finally, remember that meaningful relationships takes time and patience. Don't rush or settle. Be willing to be vulnerable, to show your authentic self, even if it feels risky. Vulnerability builds trust and connection, the foundation of lasting love. You can break all patterns and create new possibilities. It starts with small but intentional changes in how you approach dating and relationships. To wrap up, being single in 2025 isn't just about luck or circumstance. It's a mix of societal changes, personal mindsets, and habits that can keep us stuck. From the impact of dating apps or unrealistic expectation to pass wounds and the company we keep, there are many reasons why finding lasting love feels so challenging today. But awareness is power. Awareness is power. Now that you understand this reason, you're in a better position to make a different choice. Remember, no matter your past or current situation, you have the ability to change your dating story. It takes patience, self-reflection, effort, but meaningful connection is absolutely possible. Don't let frustration or fear hold you back. If you found this video helpful, please take a moment to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who might benefit. I would also love to hear from you, so feel free to leave a comment below with your thoughts, experiences, or questions. I will answer to every question. If you are looking for more in-depth support, feel free to check out my coaching services or stay tuned for future videos where I'll be diving deeper into dating strategies, mindset shift, and real talk on relationships. Thanks again for watching, and remember, stay open, stay grounded, and love might just be one conversation away.